let's see, have we, I'm not getting it now.
No, I think we got it.
Okay, sorry about that. It's always a little adventure getting the technology
Yeah.
to work. Uh, Again, I'd like to welcome all of you here to our Hoon Arts Live. We try to do these every couple of weeks and mix it up with a combination of products and stories and our conscious collaboration circle. Today, we're excited to showcase our jewelry collection. Now that it looks like the pandemic is finally uh, receding and we're starting to move out into society again. Uh, it's pretty exciting. I had my very first meeting that wasn't a doctor's appointment or grocery shopping, a non essential meeting. My first time yesterday. I met a friend. It was actually a Hoon Arts meeting outside at a restaurant, and it was a little scary, but it was fun, and it reminded me what life is supposed to be like. The being able to move out, and
Yeah.
before our technical difficulties presented themselves. I was about to say we're having a great early summer meeting. I got up for an early walk this morning and it was a lovely 66 degrees in Albuquerque when I was left for my walk at 6:30 this morning. What's it like in Asheville for you, Denise?
It's been kind of rainy, but it's still pretty nice, like in the 70s.
Uh,
Just getting used to that humidity again.
are
But
you getting the storm that's hitting the East Coast? I talked to my daughter this morning. She lives in the Washington, D.C. area, and she said it's supposed to rain all day.
yeah, I think a little bit for sure.
How far is Asheville from the DC area? Do you know?
Um, I did drive over there once a while back. I feel like it's maybe 6 or 7 hours if you
Ah,
don't hit too much traffic.
ah. Well, the we're trying a little experiment today. This is the first time we've done it. Uh, I've signed in on my phone as well as on my computer, so you'll see I'm labeled as Ricky Quintana, and the phone connection is over here, and it's labeled close up. And we're experimenting with this. I think we can get better close-ups on some of our jewelry this way. So we'll experiment, and hopefully it will go well, and we can do this in the future. So we have three categories of jewelry that we wanted to showcase today. The the first category uh, is our hand carved wooden jewelry. I'm wearing a pair of the hand carved earrings, and you can see I'm wearing the apricot colored diamond or kite shaped earrings. And in the close up, Denise, can you spotlight the close up? That's the walnut version. Uh, those are hand carved by Master Sodiq of Tajikistan. He lives in Istarafshan, which couple back in 2015 celebrated its 2,500-year anniversary as a city. It was one of the main shopping and artisan stops along the ancient Silk Road, and it is still a center of uh, culture and artisanship in Tajikistan. Master Sodiq, as I said, he's a fifth generation wood carver. His specialty, let's see if I can do this. His specialty is was traditionally combs. Let me do it this way. Um, you can see these hand carved combs, and oh, there, that's better. You can see the detail. This is apricot wood. Uh, Shipping is very expensive from Tajikistan, and American women love jewelry. Uh, so I worked with Master Sodiq and we decided to create some jewelry using the same traditional carving techniques. I've been in his studio. There's not a power tool anywhere in his studio. He has probably 100 to 150 different carving tools. Who knew there were so many carving tools? And what I did was I took his combs and took photographs and literally circled small pieces of the traditional patterns that had been used in the combs for generations and said, let's put this on jewelry. And we talked about shapes, so we have multiple shapes. So these handmade, hand-carved earrings, the jewelry from Master Sodiq, is unique to Hunarts. You can't buy it anywhere else in the country. We're the exclusive source for this work. And let me show you some of the other wooden designs just to give you a sense of the variety that is available. Those are what I call the kite-shaped version. This is the teardrops. Again, that's the reddish tint of the wood. That is apricot. The wood that Master Sodiq uses is all from cultivated trees. In Tajikistan, they grow a lot of fruit and nuts. That's the walnut version. They grow walnuts, they grow apricots. They do a lot of exporting of dried apricots. But the wood they're both hardwoods. They are treated, the wood is treated so that cracking is not a problem. Tajikistan is also a very arid climate, much like New Mexico. So the wood retains its moisture. I mean, the wood grew up in an arid environment like ours, so you don't have that effect of taking a wood from a moist climate and bringing it to an arid climate and having it crack. It's also treated with a special substance derived from beeswax to seal it in a natural way. Let's see, I wanted to show you if I can. You can see the back side is super smooth and polished. It's just as beautiful as the front, even though it doesn't have carving on it. So that's the teardrop version. And let's see what else. Here we have our round wooden earrings. And that particular pattern is actually drawn from traditional Tajik embroidery that you can see in some of our textile products. The circular pattern with the flowers, the rosette in the center, is very common in Suzani embroidery, and you'll see it in a lot of our embroidered products and a lot of the photos we share because it's such a symbol of Tajikistan. So that comes in walnut, and it also comes in the apricot. I like the apricot. My red hair seems to match my hair, so I really like that. You can see the contrast of the two colors, between the earrings on top and this little business card holder. That's walnut. So the walnut is a browner color. The and you get a lot of variation, a lot more variation in the walnut tones than you do the apricot. It's just the nature of the wood. So some apricot will be really dark, and that comes from the center of the branch, or the piece of wood that's closest to the center, because that has the most moisture as the tree grows. The lighter wood is from the outer rings of the wood. You don't get you don't see as much variation in the finished product with the apricot wood. And I have one more wooden design to show you, and that is the leaf design, uh, which are very simple, but nature is so integral to the designs that you see in the traditional art in Tajikistan, that the simplicity in itself is very symbolic. Did you buy a pair of these, of this style, Denise?
That one, I think I got the pendant for my
Oh,
grandmother. For Mother's Day, I ended up getting 5 different variations of the wooden jewelry, some earrings, some necklaces, and gave those to the women on my mom's side of the family. And kind of let my Nana like have the first pick. And she picked, yeah, the leaf one, that's the pendant. She liked that it had the carvings on both sides too.
I've actually got the pendant, if you can
Oh yeah.
switch views here. You can see that it hangs below, but I'm actually wearing the leaf pendant. We're out of stock right now, but we'll be getting the pendants back in stock, and we have all the other earrings in stock, but it's a small supply. We only have maybe 5 sets of each design in each wood. So it's something, if it excites you, you should go ahead and order it. All of the wooden earrings are priced at $21.99. So as I said, I picked the wood to start with because that's what I decided to put on. And I see Denise is wearing some of our tassel earrings. Those are what we call, those are handmade also in Tajikistan by a different artisan group. They're made by Armagan Handicrafts. They're centered in the Zarafshan Valley region, particularly the Panjakent region. And these are, Denise is wearing them. I forgot I didn't have them on. Let's see if I can show these off. These are handmade. There's each strand is the thread, the embroidery thread is wound, twisted. You can see it's more than one strand that's wound together, and then it's threaded with a tiny little seed bead at the end. These are called pupaks. The tassels are called pupaks or pupak, and traditionally in Tajikistan they're used either as an alternative to buttons on clothing. They just have a long string at the end, and you tie those strings together instead of having buttons and buttonholes. And they were used to decorate traditional clothing. So we were excited when we were able to turn them into earrings. When I choose to wear the pupak earrings, it's always because I have this sense of fun and play. I always want to when I'm in that kind of mood, that's the earrings that I want to wear. They're super lightweight. What do you find, Denise, when you wear them in terms of the weight and the
Yeah, they're super lightweight. And I wasn't sure at first, like if they were going to hang down a little bit long. I feel like when you see the close up, it can look like that, but I think it's a perfect kind of size. Just hangs really free. And yeah, it is fun. It's
Yeah,
like
they're
just a
just
fun
this
thing,
wonderful,
whimsical.
whimsical, this wonderful little pop of fun of color. You know, here's a close up here of the green. We have them in 4 different colors. That's the green. And then we also have them in yellow. I have been known, because I love blue and green, and a lot of my clothing is blue and green, I've been known to wear one blue and one green, which makes it even more fun because that's traditionally not the way I dress, but it's just that whimsical touch that is so much fun. And let me show you the blue ones as well. Here's the blue. I don't have them on a card, but I can just put them over the top here so you can get a close-up of those. And these are actually handmade by a, a, one of the artisans of Armagon Handicrafts. She has some disabilities, and until she started making these pupaks, she had no source of cash income. She's taking care of her family by herself. So this is an amazing artistic expression and a way for her to gain the economic independence that's so tough for women in this part of the world. So again, we have 4 colors, and these are priced at $18.99. And the third category of earrings that we'll look at today are our sterling silver earrings. And I'll first put up my personal favorite. These are called, since I personally put them on the cards, I decided it was really difficult to describe them adequately in the title by the design or the shape because they're so unique. I ended up giving all of them their own name, and I chose women's popular first names in the Kyrgyz language, starting with the 7 sisters of the Seven Sisters artisan group. Janel Sharshembieva is the silversmith in this group. But you'll see some of the other patterns are named after her 6 sisters. Janel and her family are several generations of artists in Kyrgyzstan. Her aunt is a very famous felter. They also do our beautiful felted silk scarves and jackets. They also do eco-printing on silk. Janel's father was known as the premier saddle maker of Kyrgyzstan during I guess it would have been, would have been the 80s, when Gorbachev and Reagan met in Reykjavik, and Gorbachev presented Reagan with a saddle. That saddle was made by Janel's father. And for those of you who know anything about fancy saddles, they often are accompanied with, they are embellished with silver decoration. So Janel learned her initial silversmithing techniques from her father. These earrings, as you can see, these are one of our larger pairs. And let's see, I had, just for size comparison, I was going to show you this is about the size of a $50. Well, it's a little tricky to get them side by side, but you can see it's about the same size as a $1/2. For some people, these may be a little heavier than you want. Um, they're not super heavy, but they do have weight, and the prices on all the silver earrings is based on weight. Because Jono makes every pair of earrings, all of the jewelry individually made. It Those of you who are familiar with how a lot of jewelry is made in the US, you order pre-made pieces from jewelry supply companies and you then put them together. Well, Jono makes her own ear wires. Let's see if you can see that. She makes her own jump rings, the little hooks that connect pieces. Every single piece, Jono starts from scratch. So she prices them, and I price them based on weight. So this is a pair of a larger design. Did you stick one in, Denise? Do you have a pair of silver earrings?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
managed to get them in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot the official name, but I have been loving these. And I really wasn't sure if they were going to feel a little too big for me because I usually wear smaller earrings, but I've been wearing them a lot and they are fairly lightweight. Like they don't bother me at all.
Yeah.
Uh,
You can see that pair doesn't have a stone. It just has a cutout. A lot of the earrings have circular patterns because circles are so integral to the Kyrgyz nomadic culture. The yurts are circular, and you'll see lots of circular patterns in traditional Kyrgyz art and lifestyle. So it gets echoed a lot in the earrings. How are we doing on time, Denise? I love to talk, so sometimes we go overboard.
we're doing pretty good, I think. Maybe another 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay, great. I have a
You
lot
know?
of choices here, so let me do some variety. Let's see, these. Oh, I don't have. Oh, these were a pair before I started naming them. Um, this this was a design. Uh, this is one. They have an irregular shape, but you can see they're embellished with little nuggets of turquoise. Turquoise is very popular in Central Asia. It's found in Central Asia. It's found mostly in Afghanistan. Uh, it's interesting because turquoise is the stone of New Mexico as well. But as you can see, the Central Asian turquoise is very blue. The New Mexico turquoise has more green in the color. I mean, there's lots of variation, but typically the Central Asian turquoise has a bluer color. But you can see the circular patterns. You can see patterns that are repeated from felting, traditional felting carpets, and you'll see some of these designs on yurts. So Jono works really hard to incorporate these traditional patterns, and each one of them has a meaning and a history into her jewelry, as well as the felted silks that she works with. And she tells wonderful stories about sitting with her grandmother and her aunt as a child and learning all the stories and meanings behind all of these patterns. So each one of these gems comes with that traditional, authentic design behind it. Let's see. Now let's try a couple of smaller ones. Oh, those are a little heavier. Those, for example, are priced at $90. The Jono earrings are priced at 106. They're bigger, they're heavier, and they cost a little more if they have stones in them. Now these are more modestly priced at $30. Let's see if I can you spot, oh, let's see if I can hold those up. These are little discs, little convex, trying to remember my geometry, convex discs. They curl up at the edges. They just have very simple lines. Let's see if I can get some, I have multiple coins here. Let's see if we can, maybe I can do it here. Can you, they're about the size of a dime. They're small. If you want something a little more modest in size, they're a lot lighter weight. So this size and this basic design is very popular. It also makes a wonderful gift. I sell a lot of those as a gift. Here's one of my favorites. These are, who did I name these after? These are Zamira. And these are have this spiral pattern on them. These are convex, convex, sorry, convex. They have a dome effect when they hang, and that spiral design is the symbol for eternity in Kyrgyz traditional culture. And this, you see that a lot in carpet and felting. You'll see it in a lot of the felted silks that they work with. It's a very popular theme and pattern used in Kyrgyz culture. And it is about the same size as the other one. No, I think these might be actually, these are between the dime and the nickel in size. Let's see if I can orient. They're a little bit bigger than dimes, a little bit smaller than nickels. And these are priced at $36. And let's see, what else have we got? This is one of my favorites, just because it's so different. These are, oh, they lost their name, but I think you can see them. These are the quarter size disc with cutouts with holes in them. You can see different size and some little cross hatching patterns. One of the things I've always found very interesting about the Kyrgyz patterns is they resemble the Native American petroglyphs that we see so much in New Mexico. We have a petroglyph park, national park here in Albuquerque, and they're very reminiscent of those patterns, and it makes perfect sense because the traditional Kyrgyz, they were nomads. It was a nomadic culture. So they were traveling. They didn't have time to sit and spend 4 months doing detailed paintings. So you get a lot. It's just very interesting to see the same kinds of patterns emerge in different parts of the world. A different shape, a rectangular shape, that's really fun and interesting. This one's a little bit heavier. This one is Gulsana. That's one of the nickname for one of the seven sisters. And there you go. You can see they have a rectangular size. but again, repeating some of the traditional patterns. That one at the bottom is, I think it's an eagle pattern. You can sort of see the wings out the edges. Um, the one of the traditional nomadic sports in Kyrgyzstan is falconry, and they often work with eagles. So that pattern appears in a lot of the jewelry. And this one, oh, this one doesn't have the price. No, I'm sorry. I just can't read. My eyes are old. This one is $104, and it's based on the weight. So, and oh, size. Let's give you the size. These, let's see if you can see. This is a $50, so it's a little bit taller than the diameter of a $50, just to give you a relative size. And the one that I wanted to wrap up with, let me see, where did it go? It doesn't have a card because they're so little. Oh, this is not the right one. Hang on a second. I have it here. Here it is. For the moms and grandmas and aunties who like to buy their littlest girls little earrings, we have these tiny little earrings. If you can see them, they're self-closing. They're little loops, and everything's sterling silver, so you don't have an allergy issue if you've got sensitivity. But they're just so cute and tiny, and so appropriate for the little ones.
Yeah, or also for those who have a cartilage piercing, those can be really great for that.
Perfect for that. Oh, do we have time for one more? One more?
Yeah, let's do one more.
Because it's different. And these are all on our website, and you can find them, but we don't have, the maximum we have of any of these earring designs is 5 pair, and it's usually less than that. These are Nazira, and these are just really different because they're a mixture of both, let's see if this is a little better, yeah, of brass on top of silver. You can see the spiral and the little circles that have a yellow tone. Those are actually brass. The eternity symbol, the sun and the moon, and then the I'm not sure. I think this is a longhorn sheep. Could be a goat, but I think it's designed as a sheep. And I just thought these were so different and fun for someone who really appreciates the unique. But here's one where you can really see the same feel of the petroglyph symbols reflected in modern jewelry. And size-wise, these are, nope, they're about the size of a $50. So that's about how they are. And these are the heaviest of all of them. These are priced at $115. So the little babies, I think I don't have, since I don't have a card, I'm not positive of the price. I think they're priced at $20. So there's a wide range of prices, sizes, and weights, but they're all unique and a reflection of the culture, the nomadic culture of Kyrgyzstan. So any final thoughts, Denise, about our jewelry showcase today?
I was just gonna add that I love how when I get my jewelry or anything from Hoon Arts, it comes with a little card that tells about the artist, because I always kind of forget those details, but it's really interesting to me. And a little just card that you can use, just a greeting card that you throw in there, I think is a really nice touch. It has some more information about Hoon Arts and a really nice quote on the front.
Yeah,
So I've
so
always appreciated just those little touches that you all do, and I feel like you might have sold me on some more earrings. So, yeah,
well,
I love.
thank you for joining us. How I think we're actually closer to being on time than we ever have been. uh,
Yeah,
but we think Hoon Arts is not a fast fashion brand. We are a slow fashion brand. So we like to take a little more time and go into a little more detail. So sometimes we run over schedule because we're slow fashion. Thank you for joining us. If any of these wonderful little treats caught your eye, you can message us on Facebook or just visit our website at hoonarts.com. That's HOONARTS.com. Thanks for joining us, and we'll be back in a couple of weeks with another Hoon Arts Live. Uh, in the I'm not sure it's up yet, Denise. We've set our schedule for the summer for our Hoon Arts Live events, and we'll be posting that shortly. Our calendar for Hoon Arts Live under the online experiences tab on our website. So come see us again, and we'll look forward to the next time.